to Lyrically Inclined. Hold on, we gotta start off right. What's happening? Tap it. It's almost ending. What's up, guys? I'm Lyrics to Life, and you are watching Lyrically Inclined. And today we are talking about the 4 chemical components that have to do with happiness in the brain. So, guys, if this is your first time on my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. Thank you so much for supporting either way. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go ahead and you hit the subscribe button, because, I mean, who doesn't want to hear about happiness? Like, seriously, like, who doesn't want to hear about happiness? Who doesn't want to learn a little bit more? Some stuff might be a little bit repetitive or remedial, but nevertheless, my neighbors are yelling outside. I think they're arguing. I'm not really sure. Let's jump right into it. So, guys, up until this point, all of the material I've been bringing to you guys has seemed pretty subjective, right? It's my point of view. You can disagree. You can agree. That's great. However, right now it is the climax. We're here now. This is like the pivotal point. We are going to give you facts, right? So some of you guys might already know the 4 chemical components that have to do with happiness. Awesome, great. Still stay tuned, right? Share with a friend. I'm going to be real. This is mostly for our minority community because we don't talk about this stuff. I mean, it wasn't a topic in my household. It's important things because you need to know how your body needs to be chemically imbalanced. All of that stuff has to do with, you know, your mental state, your physical state, how your body changes, how your body interacts. Everything, all that stuff is important. So let's get down to the simplest form. Now, I know I told you guys I was going to do this video just about dopamine, but that made no sense. So we're going to talk about all 4 chemical components of happiness. And if that interests you, definitely don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. And I have a surprise at the end, so watch. Okay, so what are the 4 chemical components that have to do with happiness? Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. So most of us have heard of serotonin. Most of us, I feel like, well, when I say most of us, here we go with my subjectiveness again. This is my perspective. I know for a fact that me growing up, people always be like, go in the sunlight. You know what I'm saying? Or like people who had depression and were seeing a psychiatrist were given pills to increase their serotonin levels, to increase their happiness. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what dopamine is, what all these things are, right? So, first definition I got for dopamine is that they're basically neurotransmitters that have to do with the reward system in the brain. So neurotransmitters that help control the brain reward and pleasure centers and also help regulate movement and emotional responses. However, let's dig into it a little bit deeper. And all this information you can find in the link in my bio, Huffington Post. I researched it. So dopamine motivates us to take action towards goals, desires, and needs, and gives us a surge of reinforcing pleasure when achieving them. So hence, we feel like we've gotten a reward for doing things, right? So when you see someone with low levels of dopamine, the behavior that they exemplify is procrastination, self-doubt, lack of enthusiasm, things like that. This is what is commonly found. However, dopamine essentially motivates us to want to be rewarded. So that basically our motivating factor is that we know that at the light, there's, you know, at the light at the end of the tunnel, that kind of example, okay? So let's go into serotonin. So serotonin flows when you feel significant or important. That makes sense, doesn't it? Wouldn't you be happy if you feel like you're important, if you feel like people appreciate you, if you feel like, you know, you're recognized, you got an award or certificate? That makes sense. So with the absence of serotonin, people start feeling lonely. Think about it. If no one's praising you, if no one's, you know, around you, no one's noticing your achievements, then you start to feel like, oh, I'm by myself, nobody cares. So loneliness and depression come in, right? Low levels of serotonin also increase the ability, the likelihood that, you know, especially like children and teenagers are going to act out, or people will do things to crave attention. We see these even in adults. Or will get involved in criminal activity. So, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, why are kids in gangs, or why are, you know, but think about it. Where the gangs are in inner cities and impoverished areas, you know, maybe there's not that mom, dad. Well, 9 times out of 10, dad's not in the house. Then, you know, if mom's in the house, she's probably out working. So there's that feeling of belonging, that feeling of getting attention you know, and having a family, having a brother or sister or whatever the case is, having someone you can rely on, having someone you can connect with, having someone who appreciates you and recognizes your achievements and accomplishments, even if they're not in things that, you know, mainstream would recognize as an achievement or an accomplishment. So oxytocin. Oxytocin creates intimacy, trust, and builds healthy relationships. That's what that chemical does. That is a super important chemical. Did you just hear what I said? It creates intimacy. In order for you to be intimate with someone, I'm not talking about having sex and bumping and grinding. I mean, there's levels of intimacy. You can be intimate with your clothes on. That's actually the most intimate thing there is. You can be intimate with somebody's brain. You have to trust them in order for you, like, to be intimate with them, right? In order for you to get that closeness in friendships and family relationships, and you build healthy relationships. So I think oxytocin is definitely an area where I need to, myself, I'm going to do a video or a couple videos on it, because I know, like, you know, things that we're more likely interested in for ourselves, there's always someone out there that you can help. So when you do have increased levels of oxytocin in individuals, it increases a monogamous relationship with both partners. It decreases the rates of divorce. It decreases the rates of infidelity. Because think about it, if you trust that whole person and you have a healthy relationship, why would you jeopardize that for something else? Like, seriously. Like, seriously. Hold on, I think something's burning. Oh my god, guys, I'm gonna die. No! No! Just kidding. Let's hurry up with these potatoes and these carrots, though. Alright. So, last one, right? Endorphins. We've heard of these before, right? We've heard of endorphins. So, endorphins are released in response to pain and stress. And they help. Endorphins help to alleviate, to stop, to make the depression and the anxiety go away. That's what they're for. So a lot of times when we hear of endorphins, I think we hear of like the fight, flight, or fight response. And basically, like, you know, like, you kind of do, like, endorphins are there to give you that tough layer of skin and to bounce back. They help you become more resilient, right? So basically, when you summarize all four, you need all four of these, right? Like, all four of these make sense. They make sense as to why we would be happy or we wouldn't be happy, or why we would feel good or we wouldn't feel good. Dopamine, it motivates you to want to be rewarded. So that's that fighting, that characteristic that makes you want to get up and get out of the bed in the morning, go to that job, because you have that bills, you have those bills to pay, or you want to buy your kid that bike or car or whatever the case is, right? You have to do something. You want to go back to school. It motivates you to do something. It's the reason why when you go into work, you go above and beyond, because you see that that promotion might be coming and you want it. You want better. So dopamine is what basically makes us want to strive for more in life, right? Serotonin is basically like, it's that thing where you want to feel like you're someone. You want to know your place in this world, and you want other people to acknowledge that you understand your place in this world. You're a contributing factor to contributing factor to society. So the first thing makes you want to go out and do things. The second thing says, hey, you see me, I'm doing things, I know who I am, I'm comfortable with me, do you accept me, kind of. It's weird, because it's like we crave acceptance from other people, but we all desire to be individuals. I know that shit made notes. I know it's going to go over a lot of your head, but I'll get to that at the end. So then we go. So first, you're motivated to be rewarded with dopamine. Serotonin, you want to feel important now that you know your place in society, now that you know how you're contributing. You just want people around you that, you know, make you feel good. Oxytocin, you want those, you know, basically those healthy relationships. You need those. You need hugs. You need intimate, you need touches, you need interpersonal touches, you need feels. You need to know that someone cares about you, not just verbally, because actions count, right? What's the famous saying that we have? It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. You talking about, I don't see nothing, right? And then lastly, endorphins are going to help to pause, to stop, to put a block on that anxiety and that depression. So when things do happen in your life, you build up that resilient characteristic. You're able to, you know, deal with that situation, handle that situation, but move on. So if you're lacking in any of these areas, then you know which level you kind of need to work on. If any of those categories, those four broader categories, if how you're feeling falls under them, then you know exactly what you need to work on, what level you need to increase. And I'm going to get into how you can increase those. But here's a few tips so far. So, basically, for low levels of serotonin, you can reflect on past significant achievements and relive those things. So, like, for example, for a couple of years, I was going through some things, literally a couple of years. And I had to just reflect back to, wow, I graduated from college, cum laude, or whatever the hell it's called. And, you know, just say, wow, okay, I dropped my poetry album, da-da-da-da. Like, you know, I had to basically tell myself, like, you are not your situation, what you're currently going through. You've achieved this, and you can do more in the future. Right now, you're just going through a tough phase. Oxytocin, give someone a hug. According to Huffington Post, they said that we need, let me look, 8 hugs per day. I don't even feel comfortable. I don't even know 8 people I can hug per day. Like, please don't hug me. I feel like that's awkward. And that was said by Dr. Paul Zak. Okay, and then they say, you know, when we get gifts, that's another way that we can increase our oxytocin level. Endorphins, we actually want to release those. So they said laughter releases endorphins. And aromatherapies, the smell of vanilla and lavender, dark chocolate, spicy foods, scented oils, etc. So if you think back, you know, like when people are feeling really down or depressed, or women are going through their menstrual cycle, what do we tend to eat? We stuff our face with freaking ice cream. 9 times out of 10 it's vanilla or butter pecan. And dark chocolate. I don't eat dark chocolate, but I know a bunch of people who do. You know, which makes sense because it has everything to do with endorphins. So it's good to just, you know, correlate facts with your opinions. That way we can, you know, build a solid foundation together and you guys can actually trust what I'm saying. All of this stuff is going to be in the link in the bio. In my description box. I'm sorry, I keep saying bio. This is not Instagram. That's how much I've been posting, y'all. Like, that's how much I've been posting. So listen, check this out. If you found any of this information useful, if you went back and found any of the old information useful, do me a favor. Share this video with one of your friends. If they have a YouTube channel, tell them I'll do sub for sub with them as well. I'm just trying to grow my channel. If you don't want to share it, definitely don't have to share it. Just, you know, trying to support the YouTube community. I have to go because I hate my neighbors and they're so freaking ratchet. I cannot wait to move. Oh my God. I feel so much better now. 4 steps to happiness. Perspective. I'm moving.